Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 8th March 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. The United Nations is monitoring Haiti's turmoil closely. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. The UN is monitoring Haiti closely as humanitarian needs rise.
The United Nations also closely monitoring Haiti's turmoil, and so much so that the Security Council is scheduled to hold a private meeting on that very issue tomorrow. That according to the Secretary General's spokesperson, who also revealed during today's press briefing that the World Food Program and its partners have delivered some 5,500 hot meals to some 3,000 people living in the 3 new displacement sites, while the International Organization for Migration has started distributing emergency shelter material to more than 300 families. The humanitarian community in Haiti calls for an immediate stop to the violence, to allow safe access to the people in need, and respect human rights and humanitarian norms and standards. UN stats show that some 5.5 million people, nearly half of the country's population, need humanitarian assistance. This year's $674 million humanitarian appeal for Haiti is just 2.5% funded, meaning it had received only $17 million. The UN Secretary General underscores calls for urgent action in Haiti, particularly in providing financial support for the multinational security support mission, which is not a UN peacekeeping force.
Meanwhile, CARICOM chair issues a statement on Haiti.
Guyana Prime Minister Dr. Mohamed Efran Ali, CARICOM chair, issuing a brief statement. In light of Haiti's deteriorating situation on the ground, a key focal point during the body's discussions last week.
The expanded bureau has been meeting separately with Prime Minister Henry, the stakeholders in Haiti, and our international partners to bring resolution to this highly complex matter, where persons' lives and livelihoods are at stake. The complexity requires us in these consultations to ensure that a Haitian-led and Haitian-owned solution may be achieved as soon as possible.
In other news, St. Lucia's opposition leader Alan Chastany has expressed his support for the formation of a collective of opposition leaders, an idea proposed by his Trinidadian counterpart Kamla Persad-Bissessar. The aim of this collective is to ensure that the voices of opposition parties in the Caribbean region are heard by entities such as CARICOM. Chastany made these comments during an anti-crime town hall meeting hosted by the United National Congress, the UNC, in Trinidad on Monday night. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
Opposition leader Alan Chastany has announced that a plan is being developed to establish a single body of opposition leaders from countries across the Caribbean. Speaking at the United National Congress's anti-crime town hall meeting in Trinidad on Monday night, Chastany informed the attendees that the idea was proposed by UNC's leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar, whom he described as a visionary.
Every attempt is made to silence the voice of the opposition as if we have no role to play in the governance of our countries. I'm here tonight to give her support and say to her that she is in the right direction. She is setting an example for all the other leaders of the opposition, that our job is not just to protest, our job is not just to oppose, but our job is to create platforms like today to give the people a voice to speak. In St. Lucia, we remind the government every day that while we have a parliament, there is one person or one group of people that the parliament must respond to, and that is the People's Parliament.
Chasney emphasized the problem of crime in the region, stating that it should not be addressed on a national level. He pointed out that the gangs causing the most problems are regional and international networks with superior technology and weapons. Chasney called on leaders in the region to finance a regional security system that would cover all of CARICOM. The RSS is currently in place for countries in the Eastern Caribbean, such as St. Lucia.
How are you going to fight them by yourself in Trinidad and Tobago? How is St. Lucia going to fight them by themselves? How is St. Vincent or any other country in this region going to fight those institutions, those corporations of evil? How? They are bigger than all of us. They have more weapons and more technology than we have. And that is why, while I was Prime Minister, I supported the idea that each country should allocate $1 of its airport to go and support the RSSS, the Regional Security System. We must fund it where it becomes better equipped than the criminals. It must develop a border control.
Chasney stressed the importance of expanding the RSS, particularly as Caribbean nations prepare to introduce legislation to ease regional travel through the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
In association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has slammed opposition leader Alan Chasteny, rejecting his crime advice. Zane Romulus again of the DBS News World reports that the St. Lucian leader has responded to the label attached to him.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has responded to the opposition United National Congress's decision to align with St. Lucia's opposition leader Alan Chasteny. Chasteny spoke Monday at an anti-crime town hall meeting in Trinidad organized by the UNC. During his address, the opposition leader outlined several measures to combat crime. However, Chasteny's advice did not go down well with the TNT Prime Minister.
People telling me that the reason why the opposition is not doing that is because I am not part of the team. That sounds like sense to you? But they sitting down with Chasteny as if St. Lucia, who had Chasteny in their government to run their country, threw him out of office unceremoniously, but in Trinidad to try to tell us how to run Trinidad. No thanks, tropical chop.
Chasteny responded to Dr. Rowley in a written statement issued on Wednesday, stating that his remarks were not a personal criticism, but rather a collective call to action. At a press conference on Wednesday, PRO of the opposition United Workers' Party, Leonard Montoute, also addressed Dr. Rowley's statement.
When you look at what is happening in the region, crime is a regional problem. And if you want to take it further, it's an international problem. In the region, we have seen an upsurge in crime in many of our islands that has been unchecked and unabated, which means our governments do not have the answer. So any government should welcome the effort of the opposition and the citizens at large when they decide to join in the fight against crime. All good well-wishers should be welcomed and embraced. And I just want to say that I listened to the Prime Minister, the future Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition's contribution in Trinidad. And there was nothing untoward. He did not delve, and I was proud of that he did not delve into the local politics of Trinidad, but he spoke instead as a regionalist. He spoke as a person who was concerned not only about what was happening in St. Lucia, but what was happening in the region, which also has implications for us in St. Lucia.
In his statement, Chasteny also pointed out that individual approaches to addressing crime are not working, and that one of the ways the region can effectively deal with the scourge and the crippling effects is to tackle it together. For the DBS Newsworld, I am Zain Romulus.
When outgoing chairman of the Community of Latin America and Caribbean States, CELAC, addressed delegates to the 2024 summit held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves made note of the threats of the illegal trade in firearms, as well as the need to maintain the Western Hemisphere as a zone of peace. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
The peace and security of our region is unquestionably undermined by the easy facilitation of the exports of guns and bullets, which find their way into the hands of assorted criminals who kill, rob, and terrorize innocent law-abiding persons. And the guns and the bullets come overwhelmingly from the United States of America. They have a Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and they have their own set of values, but they want those values to be made manifest in our region without our own permission. And that is why I'm so happy that the government of Mexico has taken the initiative to bring appropriate legal action against the manufacturers of guns in the United States of America, to bring them to book. And I'm pleased to see that the relevant courts in the United States, they have accepted the complaint by the government of Mexico, and we are moving forward with that particular action. This is a very good initiative in order to help us with our peace and security in the region. Having said all of that, I think it ought to be clear to every wise and mature person that imperialism and hegemony are the natural enemies of peace. Peace is thus an enduring anti-imperialist and anti-hegemonic path. Anybody who, in our region, who wants to embrace war, objectively speaking, is supporting imperialism and hegemony.
In 2023, CELAC leaders agreed that the hemisphere must remain a zone of peace, and disagreements and conflicts must be resolved through dialogue, negotiations, and the rule of international law. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
And back to Trinidad, where the Prime Minister there, Dr. Keith Rowley, was asked to confirm whether the threat to national security that led to the swift removal of the head of the Strategic Services Agency, SSA, by the Cabinet originated from information and or advice from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the TTPS.
During Prime Minister's questions in the House of Representatives, Dr. Rowley said he acted responsibly in treating with the information received.
Madam Speaker, the Cabinet received no advice from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The Cabinet received information from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and without more, the Cabinet acted. I am not prepared to engage in any debate on this matter. As a responsible Prime Minister of a responsible government, these matters will take their course and eventually end up where they are supposed to.
On March 2nd, Brigadier General Anthony Phillips Spencer was appointed acting SSA Director by President Christine Kangaloo after recommendation from the National Security Council to the Cabinet that the head of the SSA be replaced immediately.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.